Alright, well, I do hope that everyone's week was beneficial to some degree. Your life's slightly better now than it was maybe Monday. We'll see. Anyway, the night's young. We'll go ahead and start tonight's session with a little recap of last session. Nori and Polly, while they were up in the air, Nori in bird form and Polly never-ending storying on top of her, kept an eye out over the gorge, the ridge, the once river, whatever you want to call it. This jagged spiked area. And not seeing a whole hell of a lot, they did notice something up ahead from the group as the rest of the group were down at the bottom of the basin, heading eastward. A sword was found, half lodged into the snow and ice of this permafrosted area. And Bryn and Amric, after a preliminary identify was cast upon said sword, just so that way I don't veer everyone's thoughts about Bryn and Amric in their next decision here, decided to reach out to the sword and to try and unearth it. First attempt not going so well, but with the second attempt they were easily able to dislodge it from the permafrost before it closed back up, and they witnessed this new great sword-esque situation in front of them. As they were admiring the sword, the 8 hooks that were at the edge of the blade started to move down towards the hilt, and a black mechanical spider seemed to morph out of the silver of the sword and bite both of their hands before melding back in once more. Those around that saw this curiously looked on, as now Bryn and Amric seemed to punch, kick. I'm sure if there could have been some biting and some scratching would have happened as well, but they were fighting over said sword, and Bryn being seemingly much more successful at it. This seemed to turn Amric into some sort of blind rage, as he then took his shields, gifted to him by Polly, and started to try and trample over everyone, mainly only hitting Adrif and Bryn. Some fighting commenced. At one point, Amric was plane shifted into a demi-plane inside the sword of the Duskender. And by the time that Polly and Nori had finally made it through the jagged spikes after seeing a bit of a dust-up happening up ahead, coming down to warn, it was the tail end of the battle as Amric pushed his way, his last time, through the space of Adrif and Bryn, this time hitting Bryn instead of Adrif, and Adrif deciding to end it, as she had enough of the shenanigans, thoroughly giving Amric what he gave her, but twofold. And then moving on to Bryn, where between everyone else, Bryn was subdued. Once Bryn was unconscious and Amric unconscious, the blade seemed to melt, and the black mechanical spider seemed to come out of it and scurry away, with Rachel giving chase, landing a shot on it, but it continuing on, and him not wanting to get too far away from the group in case something else happens, he returned back. Between the healers of the group, they weren't sure what they were doing or how to fix the situation, as ectoplasm was seen pouring from the ears of both Bryn and Amric, and Adrif let you all know that this seems to be some sort of ghost situation. So, with the when in doubt, shoot your shot, I guess, and Polly called forth his divine intervention to beseech Illuminate to hopefully completely heal both Bryn and Amric and cast out anything that may still be inside them. And it worked. A little too well. We've heard of factory resets, but this is pretty much sending it back in, getting it completely refurbished, and getting back a brand new copy of what you sent in the first time, where Bryn and Amric were healed of everything that ever ailed them. That little quirk in the left knee, Bryn, gone. The years that you guys lost in the dream plane, gone. Tattoos that weren't magical, gone. So pretty much all of Amric. Scars, cuts, portions of yourselves that you may not even know have been wounded or missing, completely revitalized. Baby Amric and baby Bryn are given back to the group. Not physical, not actual little babies, but basically, if they were to get identified right now, their age would be one. One day, not 1 year. As basically, down to a cellular level, everything was revitalized. With this situation under control, you guys decided to continue on as if nothing happened. Adrith found that a little weird, but thought of, well, sooner I'm done with this, the sooner I'm done with this. So, though questions did get asked briefly, everyone decided, put your head down and keep on trucking. Moving forward, you guys did eventually come across what you can only consider is a mass grave site. A portion where both Adrith and Bryn's hands glowed brightly, and the soul harvesting commenced. Bryn's hands flickering a little bit, not as consistent, but once she got her hands on one soul, she seemed back to full force. That is until both Adrith and Bryn came across the same soul, a contended soul for two separate deities. A quick tussle internally between the two happened, and Adrith, being a lot more well-established with her god, was able to take hold not of only that soul, but the two souls that Bryn had already stored inside her, thoroughly depleting Illuminate's hold with Bryn. And this is probably the first time that you can actually feel the cold, Bryn. It's an interesting feeling to technically feel human. As far as mechanics go, your second wind no longer works. I thought I should tell you that now rather than in a battle. But with that, the very first body that you guys had come across when going into this area, Adrith basically pulled the body out of the snow, and this was Johann, both Bryn and Adrith's father, and a moment was allowed for Bryn to be with him before Adrith changed into direwolf form and bounded off with him, going back to Lingvi. With that situation taken care of, Bryn's hands no longer glowing, you guys have a choice to make. It is roughly past midday here, but that does mean that night's approaching soon. You got about 3 hours left of sunlight, and I'll move us over to the map. Could even ask Adrith before she bounds off where exactly you guys are at. And with her abilities, she would be able to give you a decent summation. Not pinpoint accurate, but good enough. And that would put you guys right around the top of the E in Northern.
So we got like a week's travel towards the north.
You honestly don't know how long of a travel you've got. This is the frozen ice sheet. There is no solid straight paths to move. Yes, Nori could fly you guys around for a while each day, but even Bryn has never ventured this far north. You guys don't know what. It's uncharted territory for you guys. And some answers were given to you all on what to look out for, but even then, the Valkyrie only goes so far. So, this is, yes, into the unknown. You guys have no idea what is going to be next. Not sure if flying is a good thing or a bad thing. Paint a target on your back or completely avoid all danger. You really don't know. So that's that map. And as far as the main, like the world map goes, where is it? There it is. Go over. Whoops. Zoom all the way in. Yeah, that little top red mark is about where you guys are at. So, it's a solemn moment. Adrift had just left with Johan. You guys, Bryn obviously probably staring off where they had left for a moment before kind of shivering, which is weird. But the cold really starting to seep in and kind of snaps you out of your thought process and makes you refocus back on the group as you turn around and they're all just kind of staring at you. Except for Amric. Amric's just like slowly touching his face.
Are you alright, Bryn?
No, but it's glad to know he's going home.
Well, that's one part of our journey up north. Where do we move forward from here?
I mean, if we're going to go to your mother, we need to keep going north.
That's right. Is it like the cliffs climbable? It's all spikes above us right now, right?
Yeah, but there are gradual ways in and out of the river. So you just need to continue. You passed a few of them, and that's how you guys got down here in the first place. So, but as far as go ahead.
You said that it curved up ahead, correct?
That was back at the sword.
Okay.
Yeah, that was back at the sword. As far as the map goes, the large green X on top is roughly the area of the teleportation circle, and then the tiny green dot to the right is the area where Nori was told her crystals could be found. To give you guys a context of space.
Mm.
And I believe it was only Nori's that was given a rough time of how long it would take to get there. And that was a couple weeks, I believe.
Yeah.
It looks like if that's any estimate, then it's going to take us over a month to get north.
And that's not even counting the various things we might encounter. I mean, then it wouldn't even give us the name of the place, because Bryn's mom wouldn't approve.
Worth it?
Well, it's our fastest option compared to passing all the danger going if we head south at this point.
Val, as far as going south, which direction feels faster? Because I know it's going to be a month minimum to go up north completely. But we don't know anything that's up there. We have some idea of what south is. And it's dangerous, but what's the time difference approximately?
Well, I mean, we're looking at like double the distance trying to go south.
More than that, yeah.
I mean, through Ixia you won't have a problem, but once you hit Cydia, then you're going to have to start maneuvering.
Bob and weave, bob and weave.
We're essentially trying to end up at the dark green splotch underneath Cydia's name, right?
Yeah, where that meets the border of Cydia and the jungle.
That's my home.
That's pretty much, yeah, Kaporan lives literally at like the most southern point of Cydia.
Home sweet home.
I say let's head north as fast as possible.
Shaw would look at Nori with that and be like, "Are you good?"
Nori kind of just gives him a very deadpan look. What do you think?
He gives her like a light shove and goes, "That bitch bowed to no one."
I appreciate your confidence.
Well,
He'll sort of wiggle the short sword that he never gave back to Amric yet. Go, just give him the tip.
What?
I think he said. I think it's almost in the sense of stab a bitch.
I wish it was that easy. I don't know.
I mean, if we head north to this place and then teleport down south real quick, then we're skipping all of Cydia, which is good for you, Nori. And since his mom's on the border, it's not like we're actually entering most of Cydia anyway. So we're kind of staying under the radar. And then when we're done, we can pretty much teleport somewhere else if possible. It's an option. Is it an option?
It will become a well. We'll have more options once I am able to take a closer look at the inscription of the circles. If I can decipher if it's a two-way portal, then we might be able to go up south, north, and south whenever we like. Or if not, we'll have a way to move back to our keep.
I mean, as far as like north goes, I don't know why we would want to keep going north. It's kind of a probably pretty buried city.
Well, that, and it's going to take, a very long time to travel from there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Back
we're
to
on an ice sheet in
civilization.
the middle of winter and in the middle of the cold season.
Yeah. All the fun.
Nips and tips.
Ancient city.
That is true, Rachel. It is ancient. It might hold other secrets that we might not even be too sure about.
And we might find some cool shit up there. Along with the teleportation circle.
We could, if we find it.
Well, if things get real bad, we can always use that teleportation circle Baron has.
I have one other one that we haven't tried yet, but that will take us somewhere in the northern hemisphere.
So it'll be fully on a different continent.
Most likely. But my other one at least will take us back to the keep. Someone that we know that is relatively safe.
We haven't been there in a while. Who knows what lives there now?
We have a little green goblin living there now.
Doesn't Bryn like automatically know everything that's in the keep?
She did when she got the deed. But that means, like... Because once she did that, everything died in the keep. So she learned, like, secret passageways, walls, floors, rooms, like that stuff.
She was basically handed the piece of paper that told her, this is all that exists here.
Basically the blueprints.
We just need to set up a guard dog there 24/7, invisible at the door.
Maybe the Valkyries will let us use the Cerberus.
It can hide behind the door that the spider came out of.
Somebody's still got to feed it.
We'll find a construct that just is sent to grab food from the garden and bring it up to the
They'll
Cerberus.
find a construct.
That's what we'll get at this ancient city. Let's go.
Right, so let's go. Yes?
I guess so.
Alright, so let's head north.
Tally-ho then.
Huh?
Tally-ho then.
Yeah, we've only got a few hours left of daylight, so let's do it.
Alright. Heading northward it is.
Nori's kind of walking beside Bryn, not really saying anything, just kind of being there.
You have any way to point us north? I know we don't know the name of the city, so you can't do that. Hand
I
thing.
can, based on the sun and stuff, it's not hard to find north, but I guess technically I could just say north and it would port that way. No? Okay, never mind, I do not say that.
Yeah, no. But you have a general understanding of where north is throughout the year anyway, so you have a good idea of where north is.
That's good.
All right.
She's just gonna keep walking. She's not gonna say anything else. So.
Just keep walking. All right. So, the choice comes down to you all. Another choice, as you guys are fantastic at making these in timely manners. We can do one of two things. We can A, go on a week-by-week basis of travel, rolling in on the encounter table each time. Or we can roll twice for the entirety of your travel. But whatever you roll, the boon or encounter or whatever effect you roll is going to be 4 times more beneficial, deadly, cumbersome, or bland.
Anyone feeling lucky tonight?
No.
You know what? I must have some good fucking luck after last week, so let's do it. I'm feeling lucky.
I'm for the week by week.
I'm for the week by week. How many weeks are we talking about back here, Val?
You don't know. It really depends. You could hit inclement weather pretty much the entire way up there and drag you out for multiple weeks. You know you're gauging right now, just on distance alone, probably a month worth of travel, month and a week. So it could either be 2 rolls or at minimum 5 rolls.
I say week by week.
I'm voting for the 2 rolls. Let's do this.
It's 3-1. We got to hear from the other 2.
Who's the other 2?
The ones above and below you.
I believe it's different on all of our screens.
Oh, okay. Brandon or
Yeah, I was
Chuck?
gonna say.
Come on, bestie. Make the right decision.
Yeah, my right decision is not to go with my bestie, unfortunately.
So week by
I
week?
should have murdered you when I had the chance.
You tried.
You tried.
You couldn't.
You did your best, and that's what's important.
Then her sister came and fucked you up.
Week by week, it sounds like.
I guess that's 4 then. So my vote doesn't count. So I'll vote with Chris.
Plot twist, I get 3 votes.
Illy
Get outta
comes
here.
in and votes. Alright. So week by week it is. So for the first week of travel, heading northwards, I need... Well, this is what we're going to do. For those that voted week by week, you all have to roll at least once. So, first one on my screen is top of the rung is Bryn.
What am I rolling?
You are rolling a d12. Okay. And to make this easy, we'll always make unless it's a weather situation, the situation end on the last day of the week. And remember, weeks are 8 days here.
While we're doing this,
Calendar.
can I set up a routine?
Mm-hmm.
The usual, like, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night thing? Since we're skipping so much.
Oh, that's a good point.
And Amric would also like to work on his mask a bit since we're skipping a bunch.
Unfortunately, since we are doing a lot of time here and you guys are heading more and more northward, daylight is getting shorter and shorter and shorter every day that you guys are moving in through here. The temperature is also dropping significantly. We're talking every day you're going down about 5 degrees. You were already...
Roy's just permanent wolf form trying to keep everyone warm.
You were already looking at a cold area in general being on the ice sheet, but now that you are in, at the end of this week, the heart of winter, which also means that Winter Festival is happening right now, you guys are in the heart of winter, at the most northern point, in the coldest in the entire world. Basically, you guys are at Antarctica in the winter. So, unless Kaporin wants to be popping bubble after bubble after bubble for you guys to stay mildly temperatured, all extra dexterous things are going to be kaput throughout this part of the travel, which is pretty much what Polly, Amric, and Kaporin all want to do.
I'm assuming if it's that cold,
You're starting
Amric
to feel
would-
it.
I'm starting to feel it. I can't make a dex check. Are there any other things that the parties experience that Emmerich would have a lesser effect of? Or is that pretty much it at the moment?
By the end of the week, it's cold enough to where you're starting to shiver. It's different being in a magically cold place already than the cold getting stacked on top. You're used to cold, but not like this. Not the never-ending, no reprieve from it.
I put on my my long sleeve shirt and my joggers.
Okay.
Since it's not dexterity, can I be, and we have limited daylight, can I be casting Commune with Nature and just going down the list of everything and just picking up any information I can within the 3-mile radius?
Remember your last attempt at Commune with Nature in this magical area.
I haven't cast it here.
I thought you casted it like when you first got into the ice sheet. You don't get anything back.
Ooh, fun.
It is.
I think she tried to do like conjure plants or something, or like
I
tried to
did
draw
plant
on.
growth.
Yeah.
I thought like when you got before Lingvi and everything, you tried this. No.
Tried it at the village that disappeared. That all there was left was a faint. Illuminate told us to run, basically. That was the last time she tried it.
Anyway, Commune with Nature will not work here. Basically, as far as plant life goes here, everything is frozen. So think cryogenically stalled out. You can try and reach out and it connects with something, but there is no response because everything is sleeping technically to a degree.
And it's not just plants, it's like rocks and shit.
Everything. It doesn't matter. This there's a reason why it's the ice sheet. Everything is completely snap frozen from the moment that spell went out, and it's been like that for hundreds of years. Hence why everything reforms. Like, you knock a tree down, guess what? Tree coming back. Like, no fucks given. Yeah, so you cut a tree down, about 5 minutes later that tree will have found its way back to its position. Okay, so rolled a 4. Moving northward for a week, 8 days worth of travel, and is not a straight shot. Though, to be fair, Nori, being this far north, which is new to you, it gets a little wonky trying to figure out where exactly north is. You have to wait for it to be decently bright, because where you guys are currently at, just like the North Pole, it goes dark for a whole 3 months. 6 months. 6 months. It's kind of the same situation, so you have to wait for the sun to go decently high up in the sky before you can be like, okay, so that's roughly north. But you're able to do so. You guys can at least go in the general direction. But it does add a bit of a wobble to your path, let alone also trying to go around the random situations that block. Larger mountains, different cracks, crevices that seem to stretch for miles that you end up having to go around. It's a bit of an ordeal. As far as northward goes, I will go ahead and put you guys as a mark on the map. You guys get to about there at the end of your first week. A few hours before daylight is completely gone, you're starting to get the long purples and oranges throughout the sky. You get over a smaller ridge, but you guys have been steadily climbing at an upward angle for about a good half of the day. And now that you get over this little ridge, you can see down, and it seems to basin out pretty heavily in front of you. Looking down, you can see there is going to be a clusterfuck of a situation for the next week. Just from what you guys can witness upon this ridge, there are large chasms, there are giant cliffs. You're guessing that you're probably starting to get into the middle of the ice sheet. And if it was an origination point spell that this was created out of, then most likely shit went down here, and you can see it. Looking far off to the right and to the left, you can see pretty serene landscape that doesn't seem to be as jagged as a situation as what lies in front of you. You can decide to go straight through it, or you can take the time, probably adding an extra week to your ordeal, to try and go around all the chaos that is the geography in front of you. It's a decision that's up to you.
I would vote for a round, but something tells me this group is going to go straight for the fucking origin point. So, onward.
So once we hit that, Nori just gets very serious and just goes, okay, we're in the middle of the ice sheet. It's cold as hell. Well, hell's actually warmer than this. I'm worried for the sake of our survival. I will put just that one.
Question: does this place look like it's going to take extra time to go through because it's so crappy? And then if we went around, it wouldn't really matter.
Luckily, it's a pretty clear day as you guys have gotten to the top of this ridge, so you can kind of take some time here, maybe a day, and really map out ahead of time what looks to be the best route for you guys to go without encountering at least any geographical problems. You can see some possibilities, but luckily you guys have some pretty perceptive people in your group, so you guys could take the time and really kind of like plan and figure it out. And it might slow you down a day or two comparatively to if it was just plains in front of you. But going around is definitely going to take probably at least another week.
I think I'm opting for the 2-day break rather than the week.
It just have to be one day.
1 day.
Nori, can you fly out and see, like, scope out the best places to go and the easiest route, and see if there's anything in there that might bring us harm?
I can certainly try, but if this is the origin point of the spell, there's gonna be things here.
And I'm talking like this, you can see all this way ahead of you. It's going to be a few days till you get to it. It is your next, like, length of journey. You're just right now high up enough to look down on pretty much everything.
It's two possibilities. I think we could experience something dangerous in there, or something in this ice sheet. Just know that sometimes magic in this in areas can be the most what's it called?
Wonky?
Wonky, yeah, wonky in a way that deters some creatures from being in an area. I mean, I think we've witnessed that before, at least once. But definitely, if we take the day to map out the best solution, I think we might have something here.
I think that'd probably be the best bet.
I was kind of on Amric's side again, just because he's of the opinion of, like, we're already going to be taking a month to get to where we need to go. What's another week? That's kind of what he conveys. But that's it. That puts it at, what, 2-2?
I mean, that makes sense. I'm either way, honestly.
Well, I agree with John Emmerich.
So let's go around.
All right, around it is. Tacking on at least an extra week to the thing. So we go with one of the people that chose for both of them. Nori's up next with her roll of a d12. Bill 6. Let me go ahead and put down a mark of where you guys are. I'm just going to go ahead and put marks each place. Make it easier. At the end of your week of travel, giving this place a decently wide berth, at least any of the geographical stuff that looked to be of a definite hindrance or possible sketchy to go through. Obviously, above the ridge, it's a lot easier. On top of the ridge, it's a lot easier to see all this. Getting down, you end up giving it a little bit more of a berth than originally planned because you wanted to be extra safe. So that ends up taking you guys to about there by the end of the second week. So, as you guys have traveled around, Nora, you get somewhat of a welcome sight. The main bit of your last bit of travel has been mountainous. Sparse trees here and there, but very slow, rocky situation until you guys got into somewhat of a plains, obviously frozen tundra-esque more. But as you guys went down into a bit of a basin wrapped around this hill, the end of your last few days, you're greeted with a very thick and lush, still frozen forest. These are a different sort of tree than you're used to. And coming up to these trees and kind of just instinctually reaching out like, nature. And wanting to connect with them, but knowing you can't. Pine trees have been pretty much the predominance of the ice sheet so far, that's what you've dealt with. Getting to these trees, though, they're very massive, giving you sort of the blue tree vibe of when you guys met the bugbears, but these having a red hue to their bark and wood. Very much like the redwoods-esque. And though the trees themselves are decently massive, not gargantuan like the redwoods, but decently thick of the tree themselves, the branches seem to be awful small and thin comparatively to a tree of such size. Past all the other trees that you guys have dealt with, everything got flash frozen, so that means that these trees were like this when they got frozen. Which is weird in and of itself again. Maybe, the branches are without leaves. Just the very, very top portion of it, of a canopy, exists. And unless you want to climb up, it looks like the leaf situation is something akin to like a fir tree. But all the bottom lower portions of where the canopy should be, it's completely leafless. And you're wondering, do they have some sort of anti or reverse hibernation schedule? Maybe when the pines were flourishing, these ones are hibernating and they switch. You're not sure. You've never dealt with these trees before. But
I am fully casting spider climb on myself and climbing up a tree.
Climbing up the tree and going up with your passive perception, you're looking. The branches themselves, like I said, on the bottom, are completely leafless. Not anything specific to. You're not seeing anything that would indicate some sort of disease to the tree. Something that no outside factor seems to be affecting these trees when they were frozen, that you can tell. And with your nature and being a druid and all that, you have a decent understanding that, okay, this is something natural that happens to this tree, but without really being able to commune with them or anything like that, you're unfortunately not going to be able to figure that out without taking it another step.
Could Koparin cast Identify on it? Because that's what we did with the other trees.
He can certainly try, but he does possibly run into the fact of hitting this entire place like he did with the sword.
Can I attempt to ritual cast it since that's technically its lowest level?
Yeah.
Just see what kind of feedback I get from it, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and attempt to ritual cast it. If I get the sense that I'm going to get a whole bunch of ice, then I'll drop it.
Okay. So he starts his 10-minute casting. Anybody else want to do anything during this time? Nora, you're in a tree.
Keep watch.
Keeping watch.
What Polly said.
Keeping watch.
I'm inspecting the tree.
Inspecting the tree.
Yes.
Just imagine a little triangle around the tree of the three of us watching while they
He's
do
just
that.
sort of looking up into the branches, like, where's the best place for a nest? And then while he's doing that, he wants to like try and understand what this wood is because it's very vibrant.
Okay.
I actually gonna change what I'm doing. Emmerich might know. I personally don't know shit about it, but if Emmerich can possibly find anything, any type of seeds or anything that might help him grow this type of tree elsewhere, he will.
Okay, that'd be an investigation check with disadvantage because you're sifting through about 6 inches of snow to try and find long frozen, stuck to permafrost seeds that may be on the floor. Richard, you want to do anything to possibly figure out this wood, or are you just looking at it?
He's definitely like touching it and like pushing on it and shaking the tree a little bit, messing with Nori. And then
It's pretty thick, so she's not wiggling.
but for the most part, yeah, he doesn't want to attack it or anything because one, Nori's in the tree, but two, he doesn't want to wake anything up.
Yeah, these trees are about like
17,
these trees are
and then
about
I roll a 5.
4 to 5 feet thick. So I mean, they're pretty good.
And I have a feeling that speak with plants wouldn't do anything here because they're all asleep.
Yeah, sorry.
My main source of information gone.
Yeah, things happen. Okay.
He's gonna once Nori comes down, he'll be like looking at Acacia and be like, "Wake up!" and like trying to like gesture Nori to like point at Acacia.
What do you want from me?
Say something.
You want me to cast speak with plants?
Acacia.
It's just then that somewhere above in the, not quite the highest canopy, but along the branches that are leafless, something seems to dart between the trees. Not going too far, not going too fast, but gets a few trees over while you guys are having this conversation. Mainly Nori and those with higher passive perception than 17 notice this.
Nori's gonna put a hand on Karen's shoulder and just say, "Be careful. Don't know if things are sensing us."
This is much smaller, probably fox size or smaller.
Okay, Rachel, yes or no on speak to with plants?
I mean, if you want.
The answer
Acacia
is
knows things.
That is true. Okay, I guess I can't speak with plants.
Okay.
Hello.
No response.
Damn it. Does she look healthy? Or
Yeah.
does she look like... Okay, so just no response.
No response to you.
So I'm not... No why don't you talk to her, Rachel?
Hi. Are you okay?
There's no verbal response that Nori can hear.
It's like it's shy. It doesn't want to speak to anyone else but Rachel.
Only person that is attuned to it, yeah.
Oh. And I'm not a high enough level druid to surpass that.
Exactly.
Horn's looking at you guys as you guys are like talking behind him. He's like, "Shut up! I'm doing something."
I keep writing hi in my fucking notes, damn it. Another bit of skitter. The same thing. It seems to move another couple trees away.
Okay, Nori's gonna focus up rather than just try to see whatever these are.
Make a perception check. Looking up, you guys really haven't come across much in the way of animals up here. Especially small animals. You've come across the occasional larger, like stag, and nothing that's given you guys any sort of threat or anything like that. Definitely giving you guys your own space. So this is the first time you're seeing small game. You guys haven't even come across rabbit or anything, and you haven't even smelled it being in wolf form of anything small. But this little creature almost looks ringtail lemur-y, but is much fluffier and has almost a completely white coat. The only way that you were able to notice him was as he's like held up against the top of one of the branches that has snow on it. He kind of like turns his head and you can see the dark eyes that look back at you.
Nori just kind of looks up and tilts her head at it. No threat or anything, just kind of looking at him.
Child like follows her gaze and like, the hell are you doing? Just like the way he's looking.
It just buries its head into the snow, and you almost, though you know where it's at, you almost lose it because it just seems to like blend in.
Is it up in the trees or is it on the floor?
No, it's up in the trees. The trees have snow on their branches.
Okay, just keeping an eye on him.
Okay.
So what happens by the end of the 10 minutes?
Oh, a couple minutes later, that creature will drop down to the very lowest rung of branches. Still about 40 feet away. But again, you notice it once it kind of like lifts its head out of the snow and like looks over at you guys.
Nori just kind of does a little wave.
All of a sudden, you see it just drop from almost like flying squirrel-esque and just kind of like splays out as it lands on the ground and barely even makes a dent or sound in the snow. And at this point, you completely lose it because it's got its head tucked in, so it blends in effortlessly.
Can Porn get anything back from Identify?
This is all happening while you're identifying.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or Child goes into his pouches and pulls out some of his birdseed ration and is like, wonderful companion for the journey.
We kind of will drop down to one knee.
Doesn't get any closer.
How close is it?
About 40 feet away.
Yeah, Nori will just kind of drop down, wave again, do a quiet hello.
You see it sort of like pull its head out, and little bits of snow kind of like freckled around the eyes as it kind of like, it almost seems to be like splayed out on top of the snow, with its body being able to kind of, it's so light, stay on the very top portion of it, barely making an indentation, and it kind of like spins around in a circle and then kind of stops and then looks back, almost like it made a snow angel of some sort, and then kind of just stops and keeps looking at you guys.
He'll start approaching very slowly with his hand out with the food. And like, if he gets a little skittish, he'll start like tossing the food to him a little bit.
Okay. 10 feet doesn't seem to... It's still there. It's got its head out now, so it's letting you see it.
Can I cast Speak with Animals?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Nori will do that.
The child's just sort of coming up to him. He's like, "Sneaky, buddy."
Are we about to get a Cholo lemur?
About to get a Momo that's gonna hide with me.
I'm fully imagining this as Momo, I'm so sorry.
Not everything's a vato, okay, Koporin?
He's used to it at this point.
Mm-hmm. Another 10 feet, Racha. It's still kind of just chilling there. It does another spin of its little snow angel, and you see it makes almost a perfect circle in the top layer of the snow.
And then with Speak with Animals up, Nori's just gonna go, what are you doing over there?
Mimics him and does the circle himself.
You hear like just a soft voice. It is such a soft voice that from that far away you can't hear it. It's almost like a child talking into a pillow in another room.
Okay, then Nori will slowly approach. But, like, low down, so she's not posing any threat.
Mm-hmm. So I'd say you get even with Racha doing his mimicry dance of snow angels.
And Nori will go, can you speak up? I can't quite hear you.
Being closer, it's a little bit more audible. It now sounds more like a child speaking into a pillow in the same room, but it's still garbled to the effect of unrecognizable as far as any sort of speech goes. And you realize that it's got its mouth, like though its head is up, its mouth is like in the snow.
Well, I can't hear you if your face is in the snow.
And you see its like mouth kind of come out of the snow for a moment. You see that it's got this like decently long, sort of like pointed black nose. And so as a safety precaution, it just like shows and then like dips its mouth back into the snow.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll take another few steps forward. Making sure to keep her awareness both on that and things around her, so they're not just... So this isn't a distraction for them to get jumped.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, a panther comes out to predator on this thing. And
Ah!
if that happens, Racha's gunning for it and gonna try and pull what he did with Elnate.
Kaporin, your identify is ending roughly about this time, and the majority... The tree itself is just a tree. You're not getting anything back because of its frozen state. You're getting a lot more of the area around you. But one thing that does, because it's part of everything around, your identify kind of almost gives you a radius effect. rather like most because it's all one piece technically. But you realize that as this is happening, you kind of like get this like full like, oh shit, and like you're about to turn it off because you're like, oh, this is gonna get too much too quick, as like your consciousness is like expanding across this entire area way too fast for your brain to handle. You realize that right where Nori's at, it stops and just ends. And you get an identified coming back of hallucinatory terrain. Just as Nori takes a step forward, and Racha, you see Nori vanish as she has now stepped through the hallucinatory terrain. Nori, make a dex save.
Can I try and reach out and catch her too? Or is she not that close to me?
Well, this is her. Since she was like focusing around her, she was being a little bit more careful about it, but once you put your full weight on a step that's not there, it's gone. So she's reaching back. Go ahead and make a dex save, Racha, with disadvantage because of her failed dex save.
Wait, don't go over there.
You.
Distracting me with a small fluffy creature.
So Racha, you reach out and you grab Nori. And she starts pulling you forward. As you... Both Racha and Nori disappear.
Shields out.
Orin's gonna run over and kick on his boots and see if he can enter the hallucinatory terrain.
I'll wrap my arms around Nori and unfurl my wing arms, my spectral wings, and try and grab onto the wall or something like that, depending on how far we fall, of course.
All right. So, as far as it goes, Nori and Racha, you guys fall through this illusion and are now plummeting. Looking around you, it is nothing but darkness on either ends, except for the few tinges of light that are getting picked up in reflective surfaces down here. You're seeing, coming out of the walls and different portions, jagged bits of, at first what you think is ice, how reflective they are, but realizing these are jagged pikes, swords, different things of metal, all jutting out at different angles from different crevices and cracks. And the wings get bamfed out, and you start to try and grab. Go ahead and make a dexterity save for me.
Do I think I could wild shape in here effectively?
This space here is about from the wall that you guys just are falling down beside to the other wall. It's about 20 feet. And as far as your left and right would go, it seems to be decently endless, as far as you can see.
Okay. Let me know if Racha's dex save helps, or if I need to try and wedge us to stop our fall.
Racha's spectral arms go out. I'm not exactly sure how spectral arms and damage go, but your arms go out, and the first thing that they grab onto, just instinctually, is this thing that's jutting out, but it happens to be a giant glaive that's pointed upwards, and so your hands just kind of, I would say if it's a damaging factor, they don't disappear, but they won't hold on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if it's a magical weapon or something, then I could see it still causing damage to me. But if that's the way you want to do it, but otherwise.
Yeah, for this one, like, they go to reach out, but realizing that it would cause damage, they just kind of morph through it. This is not a magical glaive.
Just looking through my shapes to see what I could turn into. Would a bat or an eagle be better for this situation?
It's your decision.
Cha's gonna flick on his lantern to illuminate a little bit better.
Okay.
Try and grab some more as well while she's figuring it out.
Yeah, just wild shape into a giant eagle and hope for the best.
Alright. Both of you make dex saves. Nori, for you to transform relatively safely, and Racha to try and hang on during the transformative process. So, Nora, you're able to transform without getting impaled or...
Add 1 to that because I'm an eagle and I get another point to Dex. So 20.
Either way, you're good.
You do it slightly better.
With a flourish at the end. You're able to transform without getting impaled, cut, or anything like that during the process. But during that time, Racha, not focused on lighting the lantern and looking around, didn't realize you're going to change right then, loses grip, and separates from you about 30 feet before you can do anything.
Fly after him. I'm not losing my bird friend.
Okay. Luckily, he's got a light on him now, so it makes it easier to see him as you're plummeting and diving behind. You guys have fallen about 150 feet so far. Now Racha being about 180. With his light and your perception, you can see the bottom behind him. A massive amalgamation of frozen over but still jutting out weapons, armor, looks like skeletons, bodies, and something else that's moving down here.
I have to grab him. I'm not leaving Racha.
Mm-hmm. This comes down
Fly
to...
up.
This comes down to... the floor is only 40 feet behind him. So by the time that you're going to catch up to him, would be at the very end of your first dash. Actually, you'd have to dash, move, dash. So it'd be in the middle of your dash. So your movement, then your dash.
Yeah, Racha's yelling at her to fly up and say he's got this.
But the main thing is, Nori, I need a... I'll let you decide. You can either do an acrobatics check or a strength check. Sorry, not a strength, athletics. Athletics or acrobatics for this.
As a bird, they're the exact same.
So the choice is yours.
We'll go with acrobatics.
Okay. So this is Nori catching Racha at the end and trying to Star Fox her way around, and maneuver.
I do not Star Fox my way around.
You do catch him, though. But with the speed that you're going, the athletics check would have been for you to, just stop right there and immediately beat your wings and go straight up. This one's more of kind of using the momentum to spin and then go back up in a arced fashion. But unfortunately, you catch him and try to do that, but just at the end, you try to tuck in a...
What size is she?
She's
large.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you can't dimension door.
Yeah, that was why I was yelling at her to go up, so I could just dimension door onto her.
I forgot he had dimension door.
So she grabs you and tries to turn and tuck a wing at the last second, but there's a large, looks like almost a short sword and maybe a long sword, kind of in a weird pattern that it's just too tight of a pull, and so you are going to get hit by the short sword. So that is 25 points of damage. But that does halt you from flying. So you take that hit and kind of spin, and it's just enough to kind of keep yourself floating, but you're right above the amalgamation of random crap down here.
Fly away! Fly away! Fly away!
First, we need to roll initiative.
I have not rolled above a 5 on initiative in weeks.
This is the first time I've rolled higher than I think a 7 on my initiative since I got 5 in Dex.
So unless this thing got below a 5, it's gonna instantly kill me. I have 1 hit point.
Let me find the right monster. But Rachar, you are going first. With your light illuminating the bottom of this area and the rest of your group like getting to the edge of hallucinatory terrain and Kaporin like starting to sink through it, which you can, Kaporin. It's just complete darkness down there, except for this tiny little bauble of light way down there. Richa, with the light that you are casting with your lantern, you see off the darkness, almost like don't know if you've ever played Prey, but it's almost like a black ball of just sticky mass that seems to moving across different items, walls. It doesn't seem to be affected by the weapons down here, as it just is moving decently quickly because it has so much to grab onto. But as you guys are kind of like hovering there, it kind of, and now kind of just staring down you guys. I was around about 10 feet away from it.
So, and it's above us on the wall?
Yes.
And there's nowhere to land safely at all?
I mean, you could land safely down here. It's a lot more bones and a lot less, like, upward-facing spikes. There's places you can move around down here without incurring damage, but it's very haphazard and uneven ground.
And this thing just looks like it's gonna try and eat us, presumably.
Seeing how, because all the bodies that you guys have dealt with so far still had all their skin, bones, meat on them, and now looking down at all the bodies around here, and they are completely devoid of skin and meat, you're guessing this is probably some sort of cleaning creature, a bottom feeder of some sort.
Racha is going to he will yell at Nori to fly up and then land on the floor somewhere.
Okay. Racha jumps, wiggles out of your grasp, landing on, making some audible crunching noises as he lands.
Is it possible to reach into the ground and pull out an arrow or no?
You can certainly try. You're not sure exactly what's ground and what's not down here.
Pull out a bow and arrow, that'd be a little creepy as hell. Necrotic damage.
You go to pull out an arrow, and instead it's someone's tibia. This'll work.
But he will try and do that with his bonus action, then I guess, to activate Acacia's ability.
Unfortunately, no arrow comes out.
That's fine. He'll take his other one out, his regular, out of his quiver.
Okay.
And fire at this thing.
Go for it. Huh?
I was gonna say, is it possible to roll into initiative?
Not almost 200 feet up, and you have levitating boots.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. Like, can't even get down there.
18 does hit.
I would like to make the argument that Nori is right there.
Not in melee range, unfortunately. Argument invalid. Sorry. But 8 points of damage. All right. Anything else?
He's going to take probably like. That puts me how far away from it, I guess.
With you being on the floor, it's 10 feet higher than Nori at an angle, so you're about 20, 25 feet away from it.
He'll back up another 5 feet or so and just go, piss off, human, at the thing.
Okay. All right. Bringing us to the creature's turn. One of the tendrils is gonna out at you, Nori.
Can it hit a 13 AC with 1 hit point?
Yes, it can, because that was a 14 to hit. So with that, Nori reverts back to Nori form. Doing that is going to go ahead and try and attack you again, Nori. That is a 12 to hit.
Misses.
So you're currently falling, so it's going to use its 30 feet of movement to get down to the base floor with you, Richaw. And being in melee with you now, Richaw does a 17 hit.
Just enough.
Just enough.
Do I take any damage from that?
Yes, I was just going to incorporate it into your falling damage as well.
Okay, fine.
So for you, Nori, it's 4 bludgeoning for falling. And you took an extra, after the 1 point from bird form, an extra 7 points of necrotic damage. Racha, for you, it is actually not going to do damage to you. It is going to latch. So you are currently grappled and restrained as one of the tendrils comes out and like hits your chest and starts to spread across your upper body. It's going to end its turn. Renora, you're up. Luckily, Racha moved 5 feet out of the way, so you didn't fall right on top of him. But you are right there now.
Okay, so am I falling or
Yes,
I'm on the
fallen.
ground? Okay, and Racha is stuck in whatever this thing is.
Yep.
Just looking through my spells, seeing what I can do. Alright, I guess I know he can Dimension Door, so Nori's gonna wild shape into a giant eagle and fly up.
Alright, we'll get an opportunity attack on you as you do so. That is a 21 to hit.
Super hits.
Six points of necrotic. But you start flying.
Okay, now I'm 80 feet up.
Okay. Racha, back to you.
He's gonna be like, son of a bitch, and just start punching the shit out of this thing.
Okay. Go for Racha and Gritty Punches. 17 misses. 27 hits. Nine points of damage.
Yeah, might as well. Go ahead and spend a second key point to sock him one more time.
Punch him in the face. Spat, bat, and 16 misses.
That's all I got, though. Because I assume I can't move.
Yes. Okay. Ending your turn. It is going to head and siphon. As you start to see it, verbiage aside, engorge itself, at least the tendril that is connected to you, you're expecting some sort of pain to be associated with this. But you're not getting hurt during this process, but you can see some sort of energy going into this thick, now rope-like tendril that's attached to you. And you're like, what's going on? And you can see that it is pulling something through, but physically you don't feel anything. It's got to use its entire turn if it's siphoning something. That's going to end its turn. Nori?
Nori's gonna hold her action, flapping above this thing to either get Richa out of there if he jumps on her, or yes, fight this fucking thing.
Okay.
Because he won't. Come on, buddy.
Alright. Nori's waiting. Possibly reach out and catch Richa if need be. Richa?
It's very torn for him. Because the cavern's only like a couple 100 feet deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could literally just bamf myself out of here if I needed to.
Yeah.
But Nori's not going. he's like ah.
You can physically see that Nori's waiting for you.
Like, if you suddenly disappeared, I think I'd know what happened.
Hopefully. Depending
Yeah,
on
but
the type of disappear.
We don't know how completely fast this thing is or not. That's why he's like worried and wants you to put some distance between you guys. Yeah, the energy thing is making him a little too nervous. He's gonna bamf with his dimension door, and he will go onto Nori's back.
Okay.
And I will fly my 80 feet up.
Alright. Nori, you feel the weight of Richa on your back, and you zoom up to the top of, or at least where the hallucinatory terrain would be. At least that's your plan. So you're sitting there and you're waiting for that feel of Richa on your back. It's just not happening. Richa, you're like flourishing the cape. Come on. Come on. The fuck? You look back and you see that the tendrils have not only wrapped around you, but are going down the inside of your cape, and those tendrils touching your cape have been pulling this green energy out of it. It has siphoned your magical item. Your Count of the Month bag is no more.
Oh, man.
You now just have a fancy-looking cape.
Wonderful. He will beat the shit out of it then instead. Well, actually, he doesn't want that to keep happening, so he's gonna
Smart man.
and break the grapple with his action, and then we'll see what that happens.
Acrobatics or athletics for you? You tied it, so you do break out of its grapple. Kind of like pulling at the tendril away from your body. And then do a little bit of a 180 spin to get out of it, and the last little bits of black rope-like tendrils leave your body.
Bonus action disengage, and then just move my best to 50 feet as I can go.
Okay. Dip diving and dodging between the different possible hazards and unsure if that's solid footing ground around here. Nori, you looking down at everything you see. Rachaw's not bamfing. He's now running.
Oh boy.
Ending Rachaw's turn brings us to the creature. Creature is going to pursue. Just goes moving across everything and is not hindered by damage from items or from unfavorable terrain, so it is not slowed. It gets to move a solid distance behind you and it is back in melee range with you once more, Rachaw. It would only get one attack, and that is only a 13 to hit.
At the end of its turn, I will use my reaction to move half my distance without opportunity attacks.
Okay.
For another 25 feet out.
Jaw's like, no.
And then how wide is this gorge? Am I going to be coming up on a wall here soon if I keep going?
The direction that you're running, you don't see an end. It's only... So you're currently moving east. To your north and south, there's only about a 25-30 foot gap here. But east to west, it looks like it stretches for fucking forever. Kapar, it's actually at this time too, looking down, you see that little bubble of light is moving rapidly in an easterly direction at the very bottom. And a bird about halfway up, kind of just chilling there. A very Nori looking bird.
Can I tell how this thing is sensing me? Like, is it literally seeing me, or is it some other sense it's got?
Give me an intelligence check. It doesn't seem to have eyes, ears, nose. So you're guessing, with it being some sort of magical siphon, which that's the name of this creature, it probably either can sense life force or magical items within a certain radius.
Am I able to get, or to start descending into the pit?
Yeah, you can.
I will move, and I guess it doesn't matter which one I do. I will move and dash once with my movement to put 100 feet between us as much as I could. And then bonus action or action hide, whichever one that is. Knocking an arrow for if it is going to try and catch up to me.
Okay. So, Rachaw, as best as he can away and hides, go ahead and roll stealth. The creature, seeing its prey fucking zerp away, turns its senses to the only other magical thing nearby, and using 40 feet of direct movement up the side of the wall, is now Nori. You see out of the darkness the black, and as you're kind of like floating there, it gets up to level with you and is starting to almost Michael Jackson gravity-defying, leaning out over the void towards you to put itself in melee with you. It ends its turn though, and brings us to Nora.
Great. So how fast is this thing? How
Kapor,
fast has it shown us?
it's showing you at least 40 movement speed. Kaporan, go ahead and roll initiative.
Okay.
Amric, Polly, Bryn. Kaporan just fucking yeeted out of his into the hallucinatory terrain without saying shit either. So Kaporan, technically you're next.
So
Cool.
I guess I would move over to where he disappeared and look down carefully.
Angry doggy.
Yeah.
The last thing, don't go over there and then
Nice.
kaput.
Yeah. Amric will follow Polly and go to about the edge of the pit.
Okay. You guys obviously getting to the edge of the pit don't see anything. It just looks like terrain. Go ahead and make intelligence checks. DC 22.
Ooh.
I don't even know if you
I
guys...
mean, y'all,
Pass.
so
Yeah,
y'all
mine's a
watched
negative one.
Kaparin
I'm gonna
dive
pass
in,
on that.
like-
Yeah, we watched Kaparin like disappear into the ground. 'Cause
Yeah,
I've
but
been
it's to
actively
see
perception.
it's to see
like-
through it. It's not, you know that it's hallucinatory. It's just to see through the falsity of it, and like you can dip your head underneath and see through that way.
That's what I meant to do.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine.
And
I'm
I'll-
not going to do that.
Someone's just gonna come up behind you and Lucy from whatever and just football kick you inside. Lucy and Charlie Brown. Okay, Kaporn. So you'd already gone under the hallucinatory terrain. Nori is currently about 120 feet down from you, and something you can't really see from this distance because she's in darkness and this creature is complete darkness. But you can see something moving along the wall next to her, and then that little bobble of light, which obviously, Richard, unless you put that out, you should be rolling your stuff with disadvantage.
Fair enough.
So that's what you see. Nori's about 120 feet down. Still
Stayed the same.
I'll drop down. Well, yeah, I'll drop down another.
60 feet?
Well, technically, I don't have to. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna jump. Well, I'll jump down another 20 feet
Okay.
just so that I bring my. So I'm 100 feet away, and then I'll actually throw down dancing lights in the cavern.
Okay. Pushing dancing lights down towards Nori, I'm guessing?
Yeah, because I can't see what's around her, so at least so I know what's going on.
Okay. So pushing the dancing lights down and over in her direction, you do see this large blob of massive something along the wall, sort of reaching out to her. That's your movement and your action.
Can I use my action because that?
Or bonus action, yeah, whatever.
Okay. I'll go ahead and attack the creature.
Okay.
Since it's trying to lean out to get her, right?
Yeah.
I'll just I'll drop a magic missile on it
Go for it.
from.
It's probably gonna end up making it more powerful, and then we'll all hate it.
Exactly.
It's a 5th level spell. damn
Why
it.
you gotta ruin my fun?
Because I can read the situation!
He doesn't know the situation.
Well, he already cast it, so he can't go back on it.
Just hopefully it's a low roll.
You ready for it?
Yeah. It wasn't
was
a low
not.
roll. So, Gapor, and you see all the missiles just, as you do the hard strum across the loot, the missiles go and all impact at the same time. And usually where you see chunks of a creature flying off or large impact craters across a creature, this one just seems to take it. Nori, you being closer, just see this thing get hammered by magic missiles, and the body of it does seem to like recoil and everything from the impacts that happen. But you're seeing this dark green light inside the base of this thing start to get brighter and brighter, like, and once all those happen, it just like this green light inside grew. It grew 3 sizes that day.
Oh, maybe we can make friends with it now.
You feed the creature and then you offer to be friends. Like what Richard was doing upstairs, Kamoran's now actively doing down here.
Okay, Andy Kabor's turn. Nori, you are up.
All I can do is disengage.
Okay. With a twirl of eagle feathers, Nori disengages.
What are my directions?
You have all the cardinal directions except for north. That's the wall that he's on.
You can technically see around you now that dancing lights are around you.
Yeah.
I'd like to get away from the dancing lights.
Watch one of Michael Jackson's.
Yes.
Polly, with the dancing lights, you can now see roughly what's happening down here.
I guess I'm gonna go up. Or which direction would cause the most problems for this creature? I just want to get away. Because it probably got faster and I can't take any of its hits.
Up and then southwardly, so that way there's more of an open gap between the two of you.
We gonna do that?
Okay. You used your action to disengage, so just your straight, what is it, 60 or 80?
80.
Okay, so flying up towards you, the bird ascends, getting 20 feet away. That ends your turn, Nori.
Can't exactly do anything else.
Richa, you are up.
So can I see anything now? My light would give me dim light up to 120.
I mean, you can see around you. And dim light is only really beneficial in a completely dark situation. So you can see up about maybe halfway until Kaporin's dancing lights start to create a counteractive light to that.
Gotcha. So I moved 100, and it went up 80. So I'm probably a good distance away from it then.
Yeah, roughly about 160.
I will sneak my way back towards it with my stealth movement of half speed, but
Lantern's still on?
Yeah, lantern's still on. So I'd be within, what's my range?
I think for our case it gets 120 is your...
It's 80 is the minimum, or 80 is the one without disadvantage.
Gotcha.
So I would do 80 and be within 80 of it, probably having a bonus action dash to give myself the extra movement.
Mm-hmm.
And then take a shot
Go for it.
at it from the floor.
From the floor.
Does it see me?
There's only one way to find out.
Well, it determines whether or not I have advantage on the attack.
You can roll with advantage, and I'll let you know if you got it or not. It did not see you. So 26 does it. "24 points of damage."
Counteract all that Caparan healing.
Oh, it wasn't healing. All right. Good amounts of damage.
Yeah, and then he'll spend whatever movement he had left, sort of backing up a little bit.
Okay, about another 10 feet back. All right. Bringing us to the creature. It's going to use 2 regular attacks on some of these dancing lights, giving it just a 10 AC. So 1 Zerps out, 2 Zerp out. So
It's very nice of you just to do the 10 AC.
Just
Yeah.
poof, poof, because he's got them moving, so I upped their AC a little bit.
Oh, Michael!
2 Michaels disappear, and though it enjoys the little bit of magic, it is not the overall dinner that it wants. So, using the boostedness that Kaporn gave, as well as the extra 2 that it needed to get the plus 30, you see this one large tendril reach out towards both Nori and Kaporin. I need you both to make dexterity saving throws.
I thought I flew away from Kaparin.
Well, Kaparin was coming. You were basically coming in. You guys are going roughly at the same area. He was coming in. You were going out.
All right, what's the thing we need to do?
Dexterity saving throws. As this very large tendril is reaching out towards the both of you. Yay! You both get latched.
Back.
So, this large tendril just flies out, impacting the back of Nori, sending her toppling a little bit, and then the rest of it goes out and grabs Kaporin, and is now grappled and restrained both of you, and its body now resides in between the two of you as you all 3 start to free fall. That's going to end its turn, though. Bring us to Kaporin. Falling 60 feet that round.
Is it like I'm near Nori? Like I could.
You're on the other side, so it's you, the creature, 10 feet in between, and then Nori on the other side. So you're 15 feet away from Nori.
With my boots, am I able to at least try to?
Not with
throw
this
myself-
much weight.
Not that much weight.
You'd have to break the grapple.
Break the grapple. Oh, Kaporin's great at breaking grapples. I mean, decide to dimensioning door out of its grasp.
Okay, you can do that.
Yeah. I'll get myself out of there.
Where do you want to go?
Back up into the air where I was, I guess.
Okay, so as you guys have fallen 60 feet, you reappear back 60, 65 feet up.
Okay.
Anything else in your turn? It's now just the creature and Nori following.
I need my loot. From what Kaporin witnessed, can you sense any of his spells won't affect the creature the way he wants it to? Kind of like nothing like that?
You've never dealt with anything like this. You've never read anything about this, heard stories about it, so this is a complete one-off. Your decision. When your go-to spells didn't work, it might be because it's from the loot, it might be because it's magic in general, it might be that spell specifically, you don't know.
Yeah, I figured as much. I guess I'll try to. You really put me in a pickle here. Can I give advantage? Bardic inspiration to the bird Nori.
Okay. Inspiration out to the bird.
Use those wings and bust free! Free like a bird!
Ah.
Or is just flying up
The
above.
Ka is that enthusiastic as well. Just Ka. Perchaw kind of like perks up at that, like, Perchaw and Arin is just like, damn, you called him a bad name.
It was just like, ooh, harsh.
I mean, I can understand Arin now. So, maybe I do. But only as a bird.
Nori, that's a D10.
Okay, so you got
Okay,
a
cool.
D10. Alright, Kaporan, ending your turn. Bringing us to Nori.
Free me.
Okay, athletics or acrobatics.
We're gonna do athletics.
Alright. Would you like to use your inspiration or no?
I'm gonna use my inspiration. I don't want to chance this at all.
Wise
7.
decision, because it was a natural 20
Oh no!
with a +7 to athletics. So,
Okay, so what's 4 plus 7? 11, so 31?
So with that, you're able to use those wings and bust free. Ka.
And does it keep falling?
It keeps plummeting. Yes.
And I can't move after breaking grapple, can I?
There you go.
Okay, Okay, how far away is it from me right now?
Currently, as you break out, it's right next to you.
Okay, can I wait for it to fall a little bit and then fly up?
It would fall on its turn. It might be able to attack you by then. It seems to have a decently insane reach now because of the boost that Kaporan gave it. Basically, every 10 damage gave it an extra 15 reach.
Oh, so I'm in range no matter what I do.
Maybe it was a one-time thing, maybe it wasn't.
I can't handle an opportunity attack. I'd have no way to get out. Alright, we're just gonna fly up more.
Okay, it does get an opportunity attack.
Alright.
That is a 12.
Misses!
As it's falling ass over tea, or you guess ass over tea kettle, a tendril comes out, but just swipes at the air next to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna fly my full 80 feet up. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Okay, so end of your turn brings us to Rachop. You see Bird Nori disappear up into the upper portions of the darkness where it's starting to get light and you can see movement up there. And you see this creature plummeting down.
Is it like directly on top of me when it's coming down?
No, you've moved away. If it falls straight down and doesn't deviate at all, you're going to be about 50 feet away.
I will bonus action hide, ready my attack for when it gets into my range.
Alright, go ahead and do your disadvantage stealth. Alright. And he's preparing his attack. For what exactly?
When I feel like it reaches my range.
Oh, by now it's in your range right now.
Oh, it's only 80 feet above me?
Yeah, because it fell. So. Oh, wait, no. 60. 120.
Yeah, it would have been like 130 feet up
It's always fun
More or
to
less.
deal with.
130 feet
four
up,
dimensions.
50 feet over. You know, you gotta triangulate. It's at least like,
Yeah. It's a lot of calculus, just fucking at a time of the day where calculus is just not
yeah,
good.
exactly.
Find the hypotenuse or you
Exactly.
die.
We'll say at the end of its turn of it falling, it'll be within range.
Works for me.
Okay. Anyway, John's turn. It does continue falling. It's going to try and reach out. It does not make its athletic save. So, plummet, plummet, plummet. Gets within your range, Richa. You are not hidden.
But I do have Caparin within its 5 feet of it, so sneak attack would still go through
Comparing
his door.
dimension door back to the top.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. I thought he was still there.
That was the first thing he did, was dimension door back up.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Unfortunately, 17 does not hit. So let loose the bow. You misjudge it just barely, shooting just in front of it as it's falling. So the arrow goes right underneath it as it falls. But it's got another 20 feet to go before it hits the ground. So bringing it to the top of the round, after it goes Kaporin. So it's currently about 160 feet away from you, down near the bottom. And Nori is about 40 feet away from you right now.
Charles all the way at the bottom. How? What's the distance from the bottom of the pit?
You're 20 feet into the pit, so it's 180 feet down to the bottom.
8 feet down to the bottom. Okay. Besides supporting Nori and trying to get her back up, I mean, he's not gonna try to attach the creature again directly with his magic. If not, he's switching out to his crossbow.
Okay. So you're just chilling?
He's gonna move upwards until like he's barely right there at the border, and
The whole time, Polly's just basically narrating what he sees to Amric.
Is that little creature still with us?
It's about 20 feet into the hallucinatory terrain.
Can we even see it? I thought its stealth was pretty high. We all got pretty bad passive perception.
Yeah, it's not trying to hide right now.
so I'm gonna take the 20 feet just so where they're on the border. I can hold my action to dodge if it tries to come at us again.
Okay. After Kapoor, we got Nori.
Fly away like a bird and hope Richa starts climbing.
Okay, fly like a bird, up and out. All of a sudden, Polly, Amric, Bryn, you guys just see Bird Nori just out of the terrain. Bringing us down to Richa.
He will. He'll do what he did before, and he'll actually. It's tough call. Let's go with. He'll back up 50 feet, so he has about 100 feet between him and it. And then bonus action hide. Yeah, he has to keep the light on, so he would still bonus action hide.
Okay, so go ahead and roll stealth. Alright. Are you attacking or are you holding?
And then he's gonna start wall stealth climbing.
Okay. Doing it slowly and methodically, it's pretty easy to climb the side of this. It's not like a smooth wall. There's a bunch of outcroppings and different things. Sometimes you're like, ooh, let's not grab that as it's like a dagger or some sort of metallic sharp thing. So you're just like, maybe not. And then you pick a different handhold, but it's easy enough to climb.
Yeah, and he'll have his lantern sort of like shrouded in his
Hooded.
in his cape that is now inert.
Okay.
Kind of thing. And then try but keep it pointed forward so that he can still see as much as possible, kind of thing.
Ending your turn brings us to the creature's turn. Going down the last bit of distance, he impacts the bottom of the cavern here. I don't need a roll for him. And almost like a large water balloon getting popped, it just into thousands of different liquid-looking pieces that just spread out all across the bottom here. This is too far down for Kaporin to see, so by the end of your turn, Kaporin, it's just pitch black down there. And you just see this tiny little bit of light that's crawling up the side of the cavern. It's your turn, Kaporin, in case you want to do anything. Nori has escaped.
I'll hold my.
Oh, also, at the end of the creature's turn, when that happens, the hallucinatory terrain disappears. And you guys are able to see now that a large fissure runs through a good portion of this area that you guys are in. Lengthwise, about 1,000 feet or so. But it stays about 30 feet is where you guys are currently at, and that's about the average extent. Widest point about 50, smallest point about 10. The hallucinatory terrain is gone. The little creature that was part of the hallucinatory terrain is gone.
No, it wasn't real.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was just working with him.
Does light come through this area, or at this point?
A little bit, but not enough to go all the way down there and pierce through.
Okay.
Can I find the narrowest spot and try to jump across, please?
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Why don't I just wait? If he has to assist withdraw, he's gonna come down there.
Okay. Currently out of combat initiative.
I was just gonna methodically make his way up. Probably if he doesn't feel threatened by this thing, or like this thing isn't going to be chasing him, he'll probably even take a moment to like pull out his climbing gear kind of thing and like make it a little safer. But
Gotcha.
There's only so much you could do with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he'll just like start working his way up, still stealthily and still slowly enough that I'm not injuring myself.
Yeah, easy enough to do. Polly, about a few hundred feet away, you find a portion where the top part of this cavern seems to pinch together a little bit. About a 15-foot gap, which is easy enough for you to jump. Eventually, Rachala makes his way out of the cavern.
Are there trees like the other one on this side too?
Mm-hmm. This looks to be just some sort of fissure that got created.
Could I have climbed out onto the other side?
Sure.
Chaw's still looking for that little lemur.
You can keep looking all you want. I'll let you know when you find it.
Awesome.
So eventually everyone gets out of the cavern. Rachel and Polly on the other side, all the rest of you on the side you guys originated on.
Cha just sort of like stands up and is like, ugh, ugh. That was fun.
Does someone want to... What exactly just happened?
Unless Rachel wants to interpret that,
But Cha is just gonna like look at it or play with his cloak, and it's like makes the whooshing sound and nothing happens.
some large black gelatinous, I'm assuming gelatinous creature tried to use its tentacles to drag us down. Rachel, does your cape not work anymore?
Shakes his head no. Bugger. And like just points down at it.
It's unfortunate.
Well, we better watch out for any more of those. From earlier, from my identify, was I able to tell like if there's any other locations similar to this?
No, basically, like I said, you didn't let your mind extend too far out, unless you could suffer some mental problems because of that.
Right.
You just got to this point, felt the absence, and then it switched over to hallucinatory terrain, and you were like, and then everything happened, and so you gave up on the spell.
Okay.
All right.
Nori's doing that weird bird sit, where just like the legs splayed out, looking supremely annoyed.
So Racha about half the time whenever you guys do something.
He looks winded, but that's pretty much just because he had to climb up 300 feet of sheer rock cliff and daggers.
All right, continuing onward.
Definitely want to get away from here.
But he eventually tells Racha that the lemur is no longer around. He will finally give up and go.
Yeah, Nori will come out of wild shape and just some weird black creature goop thing? I'm not sure.
Did Bryn hear any like boogeyman stories about this thing growing up?
Nope.
Okay.
Catching your guys' breath, getting everyone over and across eventually, and kind of just reconforming together and heading on your way, you guys take a look back and notice the hallucinatory terrain is returned.
So I'm guessing it just is a goop monster that goes back together and just exists in this hole.
Your guess is as good as guess.
Should we
Yes.
put a sign up that says evil? I can't even
Just make
finish.
just make it hallucinate the sign away. That's all.
All
I
right.
mean,
It has to eat too,
realistically,
right?
yeah. Well, and realistically, no one's
No one should be up
stupid
here.
enough to come up here besides us.
I like how,
You know,
as you were
fair
saying
point.
that sentence, you're just like, stupid enough to come up here beside.
There was not another way I could say it, and I was like, yeah, that's how we gotta say it.
I mean, technically, a whole bunch of people came up here besides us because those walls, I couldn't see that far down, but there was like weapons and shit all over the place on those walls.
And who knows how long those were there. At least since I grew up here, nobody's tried to venture out much farther.
There were a lot of bones down there.
Well, let's leave that to history, why don't we? I think we need take like the past and move forward. How about that?
Racha, you didn't happen to grab a skull, did you?
When I reached down to pull out a Casey Zero, did I grab a skull instead?
No.
Not even gonna have him roll for it?
Nope.
Rachel just picks up another 7 skulls out of nowhere.
Just like, yeah, dumps out his bag. There's like a dozen of them. It's like, what are you doing down there, dude?
Just like, Polly can use them, it's fine.
Well, now that
Now all
Rachad
of a sudden-
knows, I'm sure if there's ever a mass grave, Rachad's just going to go picking.
or something to that effect. And now that Polly has asked him to be on the lookout for it, he might actually do it next time. But yeah, he, in the midst of making sure Nori got out and fighting this thing, he was definitely not thinking about that.
I'm all for it, actually. See what the fuck happened up here, or who used to live here.
All right. Ending that stretch of our travel, bringing us to the next roll.
Does my cape come back at the next long rest?
No.
Oh man, it's all good.
Either Polly or Corporan rolls the next one. Polly with the 1.
You won.
Let me open up.
It's gonna be good. I can tell.
Something tells me this is still better than anything Caporn could have rolled.
You have to jinx my roll. It is.
Hey, I need a CR 15 monster like right now. So yes, I do.
Well, that probably was one. We don't know.
Oh, it could have been higher. After I shot it.
Yeah, but all I have are magical weapons, and as nice as a magical draining weapon would be, something tells me that's going to be really difficult to actually get.
All right.
I guess I never actually checked. Did it only siphon my cape, or is the rest of my magic equipment okay, or no?
Testing everything out, so everything seems to be fine.
All right, cool.
You can only siphon 1 item per turn.
I was gonna freak if you fucked up your bow.
No, it'd been hilarious to fuck up his coin purse and then just make him heavy as shit, so he can't move anywhere.
Either the coin purse or just like his bag of holding, and everything just shoots out.
It wouldn't be too heavy, at least. And bag of holding. If my bag of holding gets dispelled, I'm pretty sure that all the stuff just gets lost to the astral plane.
Actually, whatever demi plane that it is in, like its pocket dimension, all that stuff just stays in that dimension.
Gotcha.
So it just becomes a backpack. It's only when the thing is inverted does everything shoot out. As one of my funnier TikTok people I follow says, to make an entire town shit in a bag of holding and then turn it inside out on a noble. All right, so you guys are traveling. Polly, I need you to roll a d4 for me. As you guys are traveling, heading viably northward for the first couple of days, a severe snowstorm cuts up and completely blocks your vision. Now, it's not terrible enough to deter you from moving, and it's not thick enough that when you travel, it would block out all light. So you can still travel, it's just going to be a little slower, and you can still at least see around you as you're traveling. So the decision's up to you whether you want to hunker down and wait for the storm to pass or continue traveling at a much deterred rate.
If we're able to at least keep our perception amongst us, even a reduced speed travel is better than no travel.
Like, will I lose north?
You can't see the sun. You see light, like it stays light, but it's a snowstorm. I mean, you're not going to be able to see where the sun's coming from, just at least you can see around you.
We could very well backtrack and fall back into the fissure that we don't know about.
With the, because you make some days headway before this hits, and with the amount of slow that this would happen, it'd be very unlikely Because the fissure was only about 1,000 feet long, so it's not
It
like.
could be a new one.
Oh yeah, all the fissures.
There's more.
I mean, if you would opt to use that hand spell, but as a counterpoint, like, as in set it for a district that we know is directly south of us, so that we technically know a direction, unless unless something happens with that.
To be fair, I'm giving you guys a dot on a map here, but for as you actually know, you don't know where the hell you're at currently. You just know to keep going north, and then once you hit the coast, then you can decide, okay, should we go more this way or go more that way? I'm giving you guys a rough estimate of where you're at that you guys would best be able to guess. So,
What is that? Did we ever learn what the lake that looks like a hole was called?
no one asked.
Great.
Yeah.
It's the lake that looks like a hole.
Holy Lake.
It's probably something like that, being a bunch of Valkyrie.
I just keep thinking back to one of the things Pawn said about the multiple portals he had.
There's just an entire underground city underneath it.
Atlantis. I would vote then, if we don't know it directly north, we just Kaporin sets up for a hunker down.
That is wise.
Okay. Hunker. That's 3 hunkers. 4 hunkers. All right, hunkers have it.
Yeah, Ambrick said hunker too.
Okay. All right, so you lose 7 days worth of travel as you guys try to wait out this snowstorm.
What were the other 3 on the D4?
Oh, the D4 was going to be your direction. You guys were going to head north, so. I usually use D4s as a divining of north, south, east, or west. Now that you guys know that, I'm going to start switching up which one is which one, but I was like, oh, you guys are going to go ahead right through. So you would have just been a little bit slower. But 7 days gets lost, bringing us to the last week of Shavransar. Oops. Okay. By the end of the 7th day, eventually, the snowstorm does let up. Clouds still hang around in the sky, but there's enough distance and gaps in between that you can see where the sun rises and get a good approximation of where north is at. So, for the next week of travel, that brings us to good old Corp.
Before we do that, I have a question, Nori. Do you know of anything that can move faster that we could ride that's big enough to take us all?
Well, I don't have anything that could take us all, but I could just... Would summoning a bunch of wolves be helpful in this situation?
Would summoning polar bears be helpful in this situation?
I don't know if I can summon a polar bear.
Wolves would be able to take Richa and Polly. Maybe Polly?
I meant... Hold on. I gotta go through my things. Because I doubt horses are gonna be very helpful in this situation.
No. This entire area is transforming. You had a little bit of tundra, but it's transforming from forest to mountain to like crag rock.
Pokemon Corp.
Mm-hmm. Corp uses splash.
I'm doing some math, hold on.
2 hours later.
During the week that we're essentially just living in Kaparin's bubble, I assume, Cha's gonna like approach Polly and point towards Polly's shield and go, paint a fucking picture, it will last longer.
Insight check.
Go for it.
Please.
Disadvantage. Amric hasn't been his right self since his tattoos have been gone.
Oh, the very first night, Rachel would have tried to paint Amric's tattoos back on with his ink kit.
Would the ink be frozen though?
You can't
It's
do any.
totally-
No.
You can't do any dexterity work.
How much does everyone weigh, including your stuff?
Oh God.
Include you and your equipment, and everything in your backpack.
Like
And,
500 pounds.
and unless Amric puts his shields away, cumbersome-wise, he creates a large creature.
Amric does?
Yes. Because he has 2 5-foot shields on his back. I let him get away with this for everything else, but when it comes to moving on creatures, I'm
But
sorry.
you're reasonable in this.
I'm
It's
gonna put my foot down.
Okay,
the
I'm
only
like,
thing that would be able to carry Amric is an ox, but the ox has 30 feet of movement.
Yeah,
Can we put the shields in the back, your big bag of holding?
you can certainly try.
We've
Me
had
and
him in there
I am-
before.
Very
I am
carefully.
500.
Yeah,
I am 513 pounds, so good luck.
Actually, I don't think you guys did. You were going to, but it has giant spikes on the end of it. And you didn't want to pierce your bag, so you split
that
it
was
up.
that was with my bag, not with Nori's bag.
No,
Nori's
yeah,
bag's bigger.
Oh,
It was how we got on the boat.
it would have to be Nori's bag because these things are like 3 feet wide.
Me and Bryn together weigh 600 pounds exactly. With Amric, we're at 1,113.
I'm 269.47.
So we can't take any elevators, is what I'm hearing.
Definitely in
idea.
shifts.
Moving is a bad idea right now.
It's probably in addition to that, 1,382 pounds among the 6 of us.
0.47.
I was
even if-
literally like a straight 90.
Even if Emmerich puts the shields in there, he's only 50 pounds lighter.
And Nori weighs just under 200 with all her stuff.
Why do you ask?
I was
Typically
seeing weight.
105 for me. Just sorry.
I was seeing for weight and carrying capacity. I mean, if we make Amric 3 pounds lighter, technically he could ride a giant goat.
You mean like a giant mountain goat?
So unless it's actually the mountain goat that are akin to this area, that it's going to be too cold for them.
It'll be too cold. Hold on.
It has to be. You're now past the eye of winter. You guys are looking at, in Fahrenheit, an average day being about 5 degrees. So
It's like
Big
summer
creatures
vacation
feel.
up here.
you would need to, as Nori being a druid, you would need to find some of the large mountain goats that live here and study them for a bit and like communicate with them for a bit to understand everything about them to be able to create these mountain goats. And then even then, CR wise, I don't know if that's possible for you.
How high is the CR for that one?
I believe
If it's higher than 2, it wouldn't be worth it to have 2.
I was gonna say I'm not sure if they're 1s or 2s. Hold on.
Because with the spell, I can summon 8 creatures of 1/8, 4 of 1/2, 2 of 1, 1 of 2. Unless I cast it at a 5th level, then I can do that doubled.
I mean, Rachar and I would have a really nice ride. It'd be pimped out and everything.
Yeah, the problem is that all the stuff that would be very helpful in traveling are things that would be hard to do.
So, yeah, you would need to find these ones, and these ones are CR1s.
And unfortunately, mountain goat is only a medium beast, so...
Not the giant ones. The giant ones are large.
Okay, never mind then.
Unless you would like to take a bunch of horses out here, I don't know how well they would do.
At least from all the terrain that you guys have been through, the horses would have worked for like 2 days. Other than that, you're, like I said, going from mountain to crag, that 2 days worth of tundra, then into forest, back into mountain. It's very uneven terrain.
In all this
Is
time, have we
meat-
seen... Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
In all this time, have we seen any sign of those mountain goats that we heard about?
Nope. You guys went the wrong way for mountain goats.
And how much... Let's see, so if I'm a dire wolf, that seems to be very effective at getting around. Does Polly's speed affect us at all?
While you guys are up here, like walking around, not really. I mean, it's slower, but I mean, you guys are... It's not like straight walking a road, you know, where it would be obviously effective. This is much more like walking and then stopping to like go down a couple things. And so, I mean, I'm already sort of baking into the cake you guys going at a slower rate to do things safer, and that brings you in line with Polly's speed.
Okay. Well, not a lot I can do there, unfortunately.
Sometimes things can't be solved. You just gotta get through it.
Unless you guys all want to be polymorphed into giant eagles for an hour.
Okay. Kaporin has made his roll.
I wanted to do something with Polly real quick.
Go for it.
While we were all hunkered down. He'd sort of ask Polly, probably getting up into his business a little bit until he found what he was looking for, and point at his tattoo and be like, "Where'd you get it?"
I got it from Illinade. It just kind of showed up.
How?
I mean, it's kind of a weird story, but I did a ritual to ask the gods a question about my sister and her condition, and they didn't have an answer for me. And then a door showed up, and I opened it, and I got a hand that reached out and pulled me into like this weird mist. By the way, this is all a dream, but weird and hallucinogenic anyway. And I got some like kind of odd, out of the way, didn't make any sense answers. And then the next thing I knew, I was getting like weird like flowers popping up and stuff. And then not too long ago, we kind of had a talk, and it was on me.
Wow, that's a lot of shit.
Yeah, it is. A lot of things happened in the last couple of months. 3 months, I don't even know anymore.
Ritual. Only Ellenade?
Well, from now on, yeah. Before it was the big five, but yeah, they kind of, I mean,
Good store.
huh?
Sorry.
Okay. They kind of I don't want to say turn their back on me, because they didn't, I kind of unintentionally / intentionally left them and didn't know it was Illinade that I was signing up with until not too long ago.
Interesting.
Oh, hey, by the way, I've been wanting to show you this for a little while. Then I will pull out my black bag that's been hanging at my hip for a long, long time and kind of open it up a little bit and put my hands over it, and it's nice and toasty warm.
What is it? And he'll put his hands on it too.
Yeah, don't put your hands in it, just over it. So the shields that I gave to Amric, my cousin actually made me this special bag that melts metal and keeps it molten the entire time. So whenever we need to attune to the shields, I can pour half the bag onto the shields and we can attune to them, and we can have like hot flaming fire shields for 24 hours. The problem is getting the metal off or out of the shield and back into the bag.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so for now I'm just kind of keeping it for, like, cooking and heating up the dome and, the usual stuff.
He'll like look over at the shields and be like, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, like, get some burning hands or some crazy shit like that to melt metal, that'd be great. And then we could use it more often than not. Otherwise, I'd have to recharge it by putting more weapons in there to melt.
He'll just sort of nod and point back at the at your tattoo again and be like, a crafty bird.
I mean, I figured if I mentioned it to you, you'd try to figure something out. But I don't know what my tattoo has to do with anything.
Can you make something, Richa?
Getting a little lost. Can I do an insight check?
Sure.
$14.
It's hard to understand sometimes.
I don't know, it usually works really well when you're talking to somebody else, but when you're talking to me, I just don't get it sometimes.
He just sort of nods. May I? And he'll like put his hands out.
Sure.
He's gonna, or I guess who has the parapet now? I guess is who he's gonna do that to.
Periapt?
Yeah.
Amric?
Is it Amric? I think I thought Rashi gave it to somebody.
You mean the sunbeam one?
No, the Periapt of Hell.
He's looking for somebody with the amulet.
I have it.
He's gonna do that.
Rashi traded the amulet for the eagle eye thing stuff.
He's gonna put his arms out towards Amric and go, "May I?" Gesturing like he's about to grope you.
I'd prefer if you didn't.
What's that on your neck? And then hold his hand out.
Amric will kind of reach under the neckline of his plate armor. I have this from Brashi, and I don't have any other necklaces, so it'd be the Periapt.
Can I have it?
He'll take it off and he'll give it to you.
He'll go back over to Polly with it, point towards it, point towards Polly's tattoo, and then go, "Can you make something, Richa?"
I can't. I'm not an enchanter. My magic doesn't work that way, unfortunately. I need a wizard, a special kind of wizard, to do that. And I can help them probably, but I can't make them. I'm sorry.
Alright.
Brother, mother.
He just sort of nods and it's like, "You don't have to worry about that." And he'll just sort of do a smile and then go back to Emmerich and give it back to him. "Thank you."
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'll put it back on.
Yes.
Please tell me I did not lose my attunement in that time.
You gotta reattune to it.
Yeah, I'm sure you would, but we're also stuck here for a week, so not like you have anything better to do for another.
All of a sudden, you guys get jumped right then and there.
A stinky, smelly, no shower in a bubble with furs and crap heat. Yeah.
Or
Cha has never once taken off his onesie.
I mean, we haven't taken off our clothes either. What are we going to do? Freeze to death? Because, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, if you do create and destroy water, just create water, we all freeze to death because
Yep.
it's too cold.
Well, does anybody have prestidigitation?
No.
He's not a warlock anymore.
Yep. Nope, no one's
Yeah,
got
we're
it.
disgusting.
Deal with that stank.
Gross.
Luckily, it's cold enough to not really stink. It only gets stinky when you guys are in the bubble for long enough.
It drops every 8 hours, so it airs out eventually.
Okay. So, with Kaporin's roll, it sends us northwards. You guys travel the time. Excuse me. Heading, and the terrain gets a bit dicey at times, but nothing too extreme. You guys were still using this route to kind of go around that main portion of the ice sheet that looked to possibly be geographically dangerous. And with that, you guys will eventually do get around. So go ahead and put the mark down. As you guys kind of veer off and moving away, giving it a good berth, but also using the terrain as sort of a guiding to your pathing as you're going. It's about just before dusk when, because it's getting darker sooner every day, when purple and black start to overtake portions of the sky, that you guys end up walking into a decently flat area for once, finally, after a bit. Traveling for another 20 or 30 minutes or so across this area, you guys realize that the temperature has picked up a little bit. You're not sure if it's this area, if you're just getting past maybe the worst of the ice sheet. You're not in any more of these like flues where wind whips through. It doesn't pick up significantly, you know, it's not all of a sudden Cydia, but it does go up a good 10, 15 degrees or so. So now you're at the balming 20-degree range. Emmerich slowly starting to roll up the sleeves on his long sleeve shirt. But it's enough of a drastic change so quickly that it puts everyone on edge. it's close to the end of your day. You guys can camp out. It looks like this flat area seems to extend for maybe another day's worth of walking.
I would like to wild shape into an owl and fly up.
Okay.
I want to get a view of everything. And just like my first thought was weird volcano, or like Yellowstone type thing where it gets hot in one spot. So I wanted to fly up to the point where I could see the area that was cold and see if there's a difference between the two.
Flying up, looking back to where you guys came to, roughly where your group is at now. Physically, you don't seem to see anything different from behind you. And looking forward and to the sides, nothing stands out as this is the reason why.
Not necessarily looking for this is the reason why, more looking for is there a difference between the two?
As far as the ice and snow looks, no, it doesn't seem to be. It's pretty homogeneous across both. And like I said, there's nothing extra that seems to be the reason why.
Can I fly for a bit?
How much is a bit?
Probably an hour max. I don't want to lose everyone.
Where are you flying to? Behind you, from where you guys just came, you got about half an hour worth of walking of flat plains. Just past that, you guys are coming down from a... It's almost like rolling hills, but very rocky. And then ahead of you is, like I said, about a day's worth of walking of flat plains again. And that extends out about a day on each side as well.
So is it just like perfectly flat?
No, not perfectly flat, but especially compared to whatever you guys have been dealing with, it's relatively flat.
I guess I'll fly further north.
Okay, for
But
an
if
hour.
I see anything sketchy, I'll fly back.
Okay, you said for an hour, right?
Yeah, 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay. We don't have to fly too far. It's about 10 minutes northward. That you saw a brief instance of this before. Back when you guys were jumping the pillars and moving across the portal that large creature had come out of, or stuck its head through, there seems to be something like that up ahead. And as you're flying over it and looking at it, it seems to disappear. And then you realize that it moves forward towards your group.
Nope.
About 5 minutes.
Flying fast.
Okay.
We zoom in.
Flying backwards, back to your group as fast as possible. You guys see the little Nori, the only owl out here, just flying her little flappiness as much as she can towards you all. Just as she's about to reach you guys hear a... And all look in the direction that she's coming, but down on the ground. And though you guys can't see it from your perspective, it gets warmer, about another 15 degrees. Amric, now you've just taken your shirt off. It's just too hot. But then you put your armor on because then you realize you have no tattoos. You're like, freedom. Oh no, don't look. But besides the heat, the main thing that you see is across the grounds, through the snow and the permafrost that graces this plains in front of you, there seems to be this black ebb of energy that just almost like ripples of water, but instead like smoke, like black smoke from dry ice kind of ebbing out in your guys' direction, not too far away from where you guys are currently at. As you guys are standing there, and Nori kind of changes back into her form, kind of stumbling and catching herself. Bryn kind of just reaching out and grabbing the back of her, as she's probably used to doing by now.
Hell, things, probably hot. There's something coming here. I don't know what to do. I'm so sorry.
I just have to say, for a split second, with how high your voice got when you said things are coming here, I thought you were about to break into song.
Things are coming here.
I don't think I can sing right now.
She bard multi-classed.
I do have the stats for it.
There you go. So, as she's pointing and saying that, you guys see almost like stepping out of a pool. This not very tall, maybe Bryn size, height-wise. So roughly middle of your guys' group. But a lot more slender, Nori-esque. Stepping out of, like I said, a pool, taking steps, coated in almost looks like black water, and like they're pushing through a film. From the physique, it looks like a woman. Arms, upper chest, humanoid, elven. Valkyrie. Nope, definitely elven. You can see the pointy ears coming through. As she continues to step until she gets all the way to where her feet are on the actual ground, and then the dark ebb underneath her seems to go away. And as she does so, she's walking forward, and the film is starting to slowly crease back across her. And you see the very fair complexion to her skin. You see the long pointed ears. You see the silver hair that runs down and graces the top of the snow as she's walking. Beautiful robes she has on. Long accented fingers and different physical attributes. Something very akin to what the High Elves attempt to be. This female sylvan individual stepping forward, looking out across all of you, a mere 40 feet away, eyes completely blacked. You guys have seen something akin to physically these features before. I need... Okay, who was it? It's not Amric, because Amric wasn't there for it.
Everyone but me and Polly, I think.
Yeah, I, as a player, remember. Can Richard just remember?
I'm trying to remember who was actually involved with that situation, because I know Vath was.
Yeah, it was... or Vath, you mean? Or Saren?
Saren was the only one in the room with her, but everyone saw her.
Who was the one... Was it Vath or Saren that teleported with her?
Saren.
Okay, so...
Yeah, I was in the Feywilds with her.
Okay.
We saw her, but he was in the room.
Yeah, she got walked up right past us as she got brought into the room.
Gotcha. Okay, so then yes, those that were there for it, you guys do recognize the Archfey.
Like, this is her, or this is like
is
just
her.
somebody that looks very similar? Okay.
This is her, but her eyes seem to be different.
Warren would cast tones on himself.
Counterspell. And we'll
For
come
real?
back with initiative next round. Next session.
Yay!
That we're gonna end tonight's session there.
Curran, were you praying again?
You know what
Not
happens when you pray?
Not to anyone in particular.
That's the
You
problem.
just praying in general?
Waiting for someone to answer you. Guess who's usually gonna answer you first? The not nice people.
No. The devil hears your prayers too.
And the devil
Well-
went down to Georgia.
Well, yeah, my dad went down there,
Self-esteem.
but what does my dad have to do with this?
I mean, I could swap the archfey out for your dad.
I'm
No.
good. No, we
No.
like the Archfey.
You already said it now. You already said it. It's in stone.
I have
It's
the
in-
power to retcon. Alrighty, guys. So,
Oh, a wish gets cast and everything distorts, and look at that, it's Nori's dad.
well, it just looks like her. He's a very
What?
good. He could change his appearance. So,
Oh, has he ascended? He's ascended to his faehood that he's been trying to achieve.
it's one thing we can say. It's one of his alter egos.
I thought
Oh,
he
God.
was an archfey
It was Barnabas
that
this
became a
entire
lich.
time. He was I think he's a Fey Prince that became a lich.
A prince that became a lich that did something else. Yes.
All right.
I desperately want to know what he's classified as now, because there are so many spells that fall under different things. It's just like, what are you?
I can't wait for the plot twist.
Amalgamation.
I can't wait for the plot twist that Beric was secretly a lich and he killed and that child he killed was a someone who constantly came back like Illinade, and he's just super powerful now and he's the big bad evil guy. He faked his death with the spiders.
To be fair, he did still have that person in him at that moment.
All right. Any questions that I can answer?
How big was that thing that we escaped?
It's classified as large.
Well, as in, like, was I close to killing it with my 4 shots I hit him with?
Oh, I mean, without giving too much away, if you don't kill it with a certain situation, it comes back in 2 turns.
Gotcha.
And when it comes back, it regains all of its spells.
Yeah, that's probably for the best we left.
As far as divine intervention goes, it's been like what, 4 weeks now?
Yeah,
So
you can certainly try.
no, I wasn't planning on doing it. I was just like, does anything feel any different?
No.
Okay.
Though, to be fair, probably the person to ask is Bryn.
Yeah, that. Not a lot of downtime. Just a lot of walking.
Yep. Alrighty, guys. Well, we'll come back to this at the beginning of next session. We will probably be using Tailspire. So I get some work to do tomorrow. But, nevertheless, that's what happens when you roll a very bad encounter on my encounter table.
Happy birthday to me.
Thanks a lot.
Alright.
You like doing that on people's birthdays. You did that to me. You did that to Kaparin.
He did it
I
to me
told you
last year
guys.
too.
Nothing Polly could roll could possibly be as bad as Kaporin's.
Hey, this happened to me last year too. I ended up having to fight. We ended up having to go fight in the lava tubes.
Technically, we don't have to fight this thing on your birthday, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, true. It just showed up on my birthday.
Alright.
What kind of weapons do Archfays make?
You'll have to kill her and find out.
No, she's my ticket to the arch for
I think she might be more devil than Fae at the moment.
May the odds be ever in your favor. But with that, you guys have a great Saturday and Sunday, or rest of the days, rest of Saturday and Sunday, and we will be back at this on Monday. Yay!
Night.
Good night, y'all.
Night, y'all.
Night, everybody.
Night.
Thank you all for listening with us. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.